Hey everyone. So last night it was announced by Tony Khan that we have a new pay-per-view coming up in June. But this is not just going to be an ordinary AEW pay-per-view. Because for the past couple of days it was being teased that Tony Khan had another major announcement. And after the last major announcement of the acquisition of Ring of Honor, everybody was speculating exactly of which one this would be. Would it be the deal with HBO Max, for streaming privileges? Basically to showcase Ring of Honor and AEW on there. Or was it going to be something that pretty much a lot of people said they saw coming a mile away? Well, if you chose option B, you'd be right. Because the announcement was that on June 26th in Chicago at the United Center, AEW is going to produce, or co-produce, I should say, a joint pay-per-view with New Japan Pro Wrestling called Forbidden Door. Now, the way this is set up from what everybody is describing is it will be AEW versus New Japan. How that's going to be put together as a card, like with championships possibly on the line, dream matches happening, that's still up in the air. A lot of people have said that we won't know anything official until after Double or Nothing and the next New Japan show, which is, I think, Dominion. And the other thing that a lot of people say could prove to be an issue, if you will, is the fact that basically both sides of this agreement will not want to probably see their top stars fall in their respective matches. Like, for example, Naito, who is a top star in New Japan, people would speculate nobody would want to see Naito fall to, let's say, someone like a Jon Moxley or Bryan Danielson, or whoever they put him up against. So that's the other thing that they do worry about, or at least speculate could be a concern. But with that aside, I will admit that this is a definitely big announcement worthy of being announced on primetime television or primetime wrestling like Dynamite. I will admit that. Because you don't get to see joint pay-per-views between two promotions that much nowadays. I mean, the last two that we know about was Ring of Honor and New Japan emanating from Madison Square Garden, and before that, the All In pay-per-view, which laid the foundation for what would be All Elite Wrestling. So, again, you don't see these kind of pay-per-views, every year. You don't see them every month. So, to have something of this magnitude and, to go along with it, to have two major promotions, both which are considered in the top 5 of major promotions around the world, coming together for one night, in Chicago, that's saying something. That's also, in a way, sending a message to other promotions, other major promotions, like, let's say, WWE, Impact Wrestling to an extent, All Japan, AAA. That's sending a message of, hey, if you don't want us, putting something like this on for everybody to see, maybe it's time for you to step up to the plate and shut us up. Basically prove us wrong. Prove that you could do better. Because right now, with this announcement, AEW and New Japan have basically put the entire wrestling spectrum, promotions and all, on notice. They've put them on notice that they are to be taken seriously, they are to be acknowledged, and that they will do whatever it takes to be the number 1 and number 2 promotions, if not number 1 tied together in all the land. And if this is one of the first steps of doing it, then so be it. But the question now also is, will they sell out the United Center? I believe they will. I believe they will sell out the United Center because this is something like I said, you don't see every month or every year. This is something that's, once in a while, once in a lifetime, maybe. So yes, I do believe they're going to sell at the United Center. But the other question people have is, why Chicago? Chicago's already going to get All Out a couple of months later. Why is Chicago getting all the good stuff? Well, it's real simple. When you have one of the most popular, polarizing, controversial, fighters, wrestlers under your belt in CM Punk, and you don't want to do, and you know that you don't want to do anything that would upset him, but do the opposite and do everything to please him, then you will probably want to focus most of your major events that he'll be a featured player on in his hometown. That is why Chicago is kind of like the second home for AEW, because of people like a CM Punk. They don't want to upset him. They don't want to make him angry. They don't want to take any chances. So what better way to prove that, hey, we're willing to make you happy, let you do what you want, be yourself, than to place a lot of the stuff in Chicago so that he has less, less mileage to travel with. But besides that being, in my opinion, one of the major reasons, it's also the fact that Chicago is one of the most rambunctious, accepting, and they will let you know if you screwed up wrestling crowds, fan bases in the country, if not the world. But overall, I think this is a great move on both sides. Will this be a yearly event? We'll find out after. But let me know what your thoughts are on this joint pay-per-view between All Elite Wrestling and New Japan called Forbidden Door. How do you feel about it? Will you be ordering the pay-per-view? Will you be attending the pay-per-view if you live in the area? Let me know down below, as well as in the live chat during the premiere, where super chats are welcomed and would be appreciated. And until next time, guys, I am out.